So we had started to write what was going to be the Massacre album in the fall of 2019. And the guys loved the songs, and they said, yep, keep going, keep writing, finish the record. So I think we did 13 songs and recorded all the drums, recorded all the guitars.
Oh, everything.
Well, just our parts. And then we actually, after we did the drums, we went and watched Power Trip the day after the recording, and we were both so amped to see them.
Yeah.
They put on such a killer show that the next day we still had the drums set up at our studio here. And Jeramie was like, I think I'm going to write one more song, maybe just on drums first. So he just busted out the drums for what became Tarantula. And then I wrote riffs around that. And then
so that was totally influenced by Power Trip's macho. They're Machismo, what they had, I mean, they still have it, no doubt, just rest in peace.
I was gonna say rest in peace, Riley, for sure.
Yeah.
Basically fast forward about a year, and nothing really happened with the other guys in Massacre, and it became a nasty situation. So we had to leave the band, and we're like, well, these songs are kick ass, so we should still do something with them. And we started talking to Terry. He's known Terry for 15 years or so.
So I was just chatting with him. Of course, like whenever you leave a scenario, like if other people have been through something similar, you compare notes, is what I've been calling it.
Right.
So we compared notes about our ex, and it was sort of like trading cards, and it was like, did you have any of these? And it was like, I had a couple of these.
I got doubles, right?
It was like, I'm glad I didn't have any of those.
Right.
We just chatted about that at first, and then I was like, hey, do you want to hear some of these tunes? And Terry was like, fuck yeah, man, blast them on over. And he heard it, was like, God, dude, these are fucking awesome. And it was like, oh wow, well, I'm glad you dig it.
Right.
And then I've been calling it like a 400-yard Hail Mary I threw over towards Terry Butler. I was like, would you want to maybe play bass on this stuff? And he was like, dude, I'd be honored. He's like, I'd be a fool if I didn't, which was his exact words. So
nice.
Then he decided that, in a group scenario, us three, we decided that really, let's just do it as a band. He was like, I want to do this as a band, so we were like, well, let's do this as a band.
Right.
Taylor and I had already come up with Inhuman Condition. We thought that it was a great name for a death metal band anyways.
Right.
And then we also thought, man, we don't want any confusion. We don't want people to be like, oh, they're a tribute band to an OSDM. But we wanted them to go like, oh, this is Massacre. But we wrote it for Massacre. We wanted it to be a clear-cut road, even still for some people, they don't get it. But
right.
I mean, rock and fucking roll. I mean,
whatever. You don't get it, you don't get it. But yeah.
Yeah, but this was written to be. So we wanted to, we went in that direction. And then, man, it's been a cyclone ever since.
So most of it was, or a part of it was written before the whole lockdown bullshit. But then how did you guys manage it, getting everything else together during the pandemic? Or was Florida always open and it was no big deal?
Yeah, we're kind of like cowboys down here, man.
Right.
I mean, we don't have to say that out loud to know that that's a fact. But,
right.
Our Governor DeSantis did not want us closed as much as possible, which we are where we're at. So
right.
We were really safe anyways, and we really took great precautions. We wore our masks religiously, and we quarantined, and we did all of that stuff. So when Terry came up, he just tracked all of his bass here at our studio, and then Ross had come over and tracked some solos. One of his solos made the record, and that's on Tarantula. But on our next record, we're going to release the other 5 songs that we have on there, and that'll feature 2 more of Ross's solos. So he played on 3 songs total.
So you've already got a whole nother record written?
Oh, dude, we had written that November 2019. We had that all totally done and recorded on drums and guitars was super done. So it's
So what's it like then having these things finally come to life? A year and a half later, 2 years later, almost?
Oh man,
it's magnificent.
It's amazing. we loved these things and we put a lot of time and energy into it. And by these things, I mean, we loved these songs. We really like, so to have them come to fruition and come out to the limelight is great, man. You know, it's great.
It was like a pregnancy almost. And then the baby's almost out.
Right.
And then you transfer it to a different womb.
Yeah.
And then it finally comes out.
And then you got to let it go and just, does it make you feel vulnerable or anticipatory letting it go after all that time? Like wondering what the results are going to be?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. We release a lot of music though. So
yeah.
As a team, you know, him and I, not that it doesn't matter, not that our music doesn't matter to be out there, but you know, I was really curious how folks were going to take it. Me in particular, I was like, I don't know, man. You know, I didn't know if we're going to be slagged as of this or you have no idea how people are going to receive it, but
I guess I expected more backlash, to be honest.
Really?
Just given the whole massacre drama.
Yeah, I kind of expected a bit more too.
But I feel like you guys have some sort of reputation and some sort of, you know, long standing, not just like, hey, this is my first record away from massacre or anything else. I mean, you've done a lot of shit. So you should have some sort of pedigree, right?
Yeah. And, you know, we're really fortunate that panned out. you know, we're really fortunate. And, you know, in the end, I've been saying this and I'm like, this is just a good story. I mean, if for nothing else, it's a bit of a story and it's like something that people can get behind and write about or like talk about or discuss and have opinions, and it's all public.
Right.
It's all very public, you know. I mean, when we joined Massacre at the head of it, I had a lot of people reach out to me and give me like personal friends of mine in the industry who gave me lots of warnings and were like, wow, dude, bold move, nice. I'm happy for you, but bold move, dude.
Right.
And, you know, so the story kind of writes itself, you know, and here we are. Couldn't be more thankful that it worked out the way it did. It's a much better environment. So.
That's great. So when you guys are writing Rat God, is there anything you want your fans to take away from? Is there a message or some sort of, I guess, takeaway after listening to an Inhuman Condition record or Rat God specifically?
I don't know if there was any, at least for me personally, I don't think there was anything in particular. I mean, when I listen to death metal, I just want to have a good time. After the record's done, I just want to be like, yes, awesome. So I guess if it, you know, gets somebody pumped up, if it gets somebody out of a depression hole, if it gets somebody out of a bad headspace, or if it makes you want to go pump iron and mow the lawn 3 times in a row, you know, I guess those are all good things.
So I know death metal and extreme metal does that. It gets into people's heads and helps them out of things. But when you're writing it, do you find it cathartic at all? Or are you just writing it?
Me personally, I do.
Yeah, me personally too.
I have such a good time writing riffs. I think that's like the most fun thing to ever do. So
I had a lot of fun writing these lyrics too. It was like I wrote half the record and Taylor wrote half the record. For those who aren't aware. And then we had a guest writer for the 9th song, and that would be Paul from Cannibal Corpse, the drummer. We thought it'd be really fun to have a, you know, be able to like be in Cannibal Corpse for a second.
Right.
It was like
those are Florida guys too, right? You guys are all Florida guys.
Yeah, we're all homies, man. We're all down here and just, you know, connected and buds. So for me, writing was pretty cool. You know, I mean, I got to pen a lot of like frustration and anger. I mean, I got asked a long time ago by an ex-band member of mine, and they were like, aren't you tired of playing death metal? And it's like, don't you think it's stupid? And I'm like, no, not me personally. I mean, I hear that you do. I can hear it in your question you're asking. That's cool.
Just change the channel.
Yeah, it's not a trend for me. I still love it the same way. I mean, shit. We were overpainting I have a rental property, and we were overpainting the inside of it to sell. And while we were there, we were blasting fucking Suffocation, all of Once Upon the Cross, and, you know, pissing the neighbors off. And so I'm almost 40 and I still enjoy doing that same exact shit. So to be able to write some of this stuff and get frustrations out was great. And then moreover, now I can fucking yell it into a microphone and people have to listen to me because it's me with the microphone. Awesome.
I think once it gets into your blood, though, I mean, once you get it, and not everybody does, but once you do, if you do, it stays with you. I don't know that you sort of outgrow it because it just becomes a part of you, I think. More specifically, extreme metal or, or that kind of metal, more so than like pop or country or anything else. This stuff gets in you. And the community, right? There's a whole community inside it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a healthy drug culture.
Yes.
I mean, it's very, very addictive. Everybody gets together and all just takes it in.
Let's do drugs.
Let's do drugs. But even people like you've never met, you bond over a riff at a show, right? I mean, it's like, I don't think you find that in any other music scene anywhere.
The first 70,000 tons, the Absence played that. And
I was there.
What a trip that was, dude.
Yes. You're talking about 2011?
And we had broke all of the liquor sales before we left port.
Right.
And dude, do you remember when they opened it up and they're like, they came on the air on Sunday and we're like, hey, we opened up the duty-free shop. We have never sold this much alcohol. This is the first one that had to re-up at the port, the first cruise in cruise history. That whole boat, fucking Mars heard us. We were all cheering so much, man. But like the thought process back to that is, man, everybody held doors for one another. There was no fights. There was no bullshit. There was no nothing. It was just a floating barge of a community. And man, that made me feel really loved, appreciated, accepted. It was great.
So you're moshing in the pit, or everyone's moshing in the pit, but somebody falls down and everybody stops, picks them up, and then starts again. You're 100% right. There were no fights. There was everybody just hanging out. And I don't think you see that anywhere else. You're not going to find that on a Taylor Swift concert, anything like that. There's something special about death metal or extreme metal that I don't think anybody outside of it ever gets.
That's pretty amazing. I feel fortunate enough to wake up every day and put these pants and shirt on and be able to do any of this, let alone all of it. So, here talking with you, Bruce, here hanging out with my amigo, my brother, my left-hand man, Taylor. It's like amazing, It's fucking lucky, man. We're lucky to be doing this in the rift, releasing Rat God and having people give a shit about it. It's like, yes. Okay, yes.
Why do you think so many good death metal bands, I mean, I guess we can attribute it to Chuck or whoever you want to, but why do so many bands, death metal bands especially, come from that area? Is it Morris sound? What do you think is the cause? Is it the water? Because
it's just the sun is so damn hot.
Yeah, it's the mugginess.
Just like black metal, you attribute to Norway or somewhere. You could definitely attribute the good death metal stuff to your area along the I-4 or 75 corridor, right?
Yeah,
you would think it would be like surfer metal or something, or like beach rock or something. Right. I don't know. I guess maybe it's the humidity and everybody's starts off like a poor musician jamming in a hot storage unit.
Dude, that's where we cut our teeth, man, in a non-air conditioned storage unit. Like that's the quintessential Florida band photo, is at a damn storage unit, and you're like
112 degrees in there.
Soaking wet.
Yeah. I've lost entire liters out of me just standing, let alone playing.
Right. Are you guys planning on taking Inhuman Condition out on the road at all? Any plans yet, or is it too early?
Yep. Happening September.
Oh, September?
Yep. We're doing an East Coast crawl. Terry so eloquently described it as the tarantula is crawling up the East Coast, and it was like gross. Real nasty sounding, because
the Tarantula.
Oh, Tarantula.
Tarantula, nice. Yeah. I think it's going to be great because nobody's been to shows, or most people have not been to shows along our corridor. Anyway, I'm on the 95 here in Virginia. It's going to be pretty amazing when you finally get out there and start playing, and people for the first time have seen live music, or real good live music, in a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. We did a sold out show here at with Deicide. That was our first show, and Glenn wanted to play some tiny little club, like very tiny club, 150, and he wanted to do it in our local area to have our area feel like, hey, we're back, or we're still alive,
right.
Not we're back, we're still alive. And dude, it sold out in 2 minutes, which is amazing.
People are hungry.
Man, it was such a good time, dude. The first hour was a bit weird because it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And I haven't been around this many people.
Right.
But we had I had my vaccination at that point, and then it was just kind of starting to roll out then. It was back in April. But But everybody was safe and everybody minded their P's and Q's, and there was hand sanitizer, and everybody, just had a good time. And there was no reports of like mass people getting sick.
Right.
So
was it pretty amazing stepping out on stage after being away from it for so long?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like going back to that drug culture thing, it was finally the
fucking
fix.
Dopamine hit right there. So
no nerves.
I mean, I was a bit nervous.
I mean, because you're in a different position now too, right? You're in front instead of behind.
Well, Taylor and I have a Swedish, like sort of like, we call it like it's like a Swedeth band. It's kind of like grave worship. We have a band called Gore Gang, and I sing in that band. So we've done some touring with me singing. So I was more nervous just because you got Terry over here, you got our buddy Rustin back there, you got Taylor over here. I was like, I don't want to let anybody down, so let's see how it goes. But it was great, man. It was pretty amazing. I just had I normally get jitters anyway. So
yeah, I think it was more of a it was our first show ever. We didn't even release a single yet at that point. So no one had heard anything except I think a 15-second teaser that we had. So it was
live music, and it was good live music. So people were probably going nuts, right?
Oh man, that someone had filmed the whole thing from the front row, and that ended up getting like 15,000 or 16,000 views post that show, which we were like, dude, we didn't even have, like he said, we didn't even have any music out. So people were just literally that hungry and sponging it up. So really
the last show I've been on was 70,000 tons in 19, I guess, right? Because 20 we were closed. So I haven't seen anything since January of 19. I'm dying.
Wow.
We're coming up through Virginia, so we'll see you in September.
I hope so, because somehow the routing is weird. Everybody's booking shows, but they're not booking Richmond. They're going right around it.
I know that we were struggling a bit with Richmond. Something they were like with this tour. So we ended up having to go to Chesapeake, I think is where we're going in Virginia. And the reason is something was up with Richmond. I don't know
what it is. Everybody's bypassing it. They're going to either Baltimore or Chesapeake.
I think
we got great venues here. I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
It might have something to do with maybe ordinances or
I don't know, but
red tape.
Everybody's seeing shows and I'm watching everybody's pictures, but I haven't gotten to anything yet. So
oh man. All right. Well, hopefully soon for you.
Yeah, I am coming down to Orlando. I'm gonna see
oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Over in Judas Priest, and I think Sepultura is on that maybe, or Soulfly. Mm-hmm. Somebody else. Soulfly. That'll be pretty good.
Killer.
Nice. Did I miss anything you guys want to cover?
No. I think it was kind of it. Eat your vitamins and eat your Wheaties, and pick up Rat God. It's out now, and we'll see you in September up the East Coast.
Up the East Coast. I'll make the trip to Chesapeake to see it for sure, because that's only about an hour and a half.
Love to hang out with you, Bruce.
Awesome, man. Thank you for taking the time, my friends. Sorry about the little glitches earlier, but we got it done. And
all good.
Thanks for your time.
Be well. Good luck with the record and stay safe.
Thank you, bud. See you.
Bye.
Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.